Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another marvelous Monday, and it is the 8th of January. We're so happy you can join us. My name is Mark Daniel.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, wishing a happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you all, everyone. We're in this is the second Monday of the year.
Yeah, just like that.
Feels like a whole month has passed by already.
Yeah.
You know, we're still getting over our holiday. They call it the holiday hangover. We're looking forward to the rest of January, waiting for that paycheck to land. That January has about 3,000 days in it, and so we should be getting paid at day 2,999.
Absolutely. I hope we're very careful with the funds that we received, or if we received a bonus, then we took good care to make sure that it will last us.
Exactly. But we're so happy you can join us this morning on another Bahamas at Sunrise. So glad that you're with us. You notice we're dressed alike. We normally, there's this little thing that happens when Dav picks something up and I know what color she's going to wear and we match.
Like a spidey sense.
Exactly, the spidey sense. Today I'm actually wearing black because I want to recognize, the families, friends, all the loved ones of the murder victims that have been popping up recently on our timelines. It's been 8 days into that have been popping up recently on our timelines. It's been 8 days into the year. I think we're at about 7 or 8 murders, and that's unacceptable. And right now, who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to the man in the mirror, because that's the only person that could really control what's going on here. When you look in the mirror and look into your own eyes, what do you see? And when you look into your brother and sister's eyes, what do you see? And that's what it boils down to. Do you see yourself? Do you see the vision of God? Do you see divinity? Do you see a life? Do you see a family? Do you see a future? That's all I got to say.
So I actually picked out my black shirt to go with this beautiful skirt that I got from African Things, but now it's unfortunately very appropriate. Yesterday we were faced with a sudden loss of my husband's cousin and my friend, my schoolmate. We graduated from high school together, Crystal Harris. And so I just want to extend condolences to all of those whom she touched, who are mourning her sudden loss very deeply.
Condolences to your family, to Drew's family, all of her loved ones. There's things we can't control, right? This life does things to us. There's new things every day we can't expect it. There's things we can't control, but the things we can. You can control what you do as a man, as a woman in this society for our children, for our future. And I ain't trying to preach, but I just tired of it, man. I tired of seeing the blood. I tired of seeing the headlines. Let's figure this out.
I don't know, between the suit and the passion, I'm definitely getting preacher.
Yeah, man. Tired. But we're here on Bahamas at Sunrise, and we're so happy you're with us. We're ready to kick our week off and get through this productive week. We've got a great show for you today. This majority rule week, everybody. And so as we sit here and we think about the things that our country represents, where we come from, where we want to go, those that came before us, who fought for our freedom, who fought for majority rule, for us to have a voice and a say, we got it, y'all. So what are we doing with it? Anyway, we can find out. The Division of Cultural Affairs is here to talk about Culture on the Key that's happening this week. And we'll also talk to the Wilson Award recipient, Keisha Oliver, about her expansive archival project.
Alpha Phi Alpha will share their plans for a Martin Luther King Jr. essay competition and lecture. And Gowon Bowe will join us to give an economic outlook for 2024. TCL invites you to attend the 32nd annual Bahamas Business Outlook, Thursday, January 25th. Check out our website, tclevents.com, for more information and to register for the conference. Now, let's check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. And your first look at weather. Sunrise had a frontal boundary move through yesterday, now over the Exumas, Kidd Islands, and Salvo area, stationary. And high pressures are building across the northwest Bahamas, so some breezy conditions over the next couple of days. So today, we're looking at variable cloudiness, breezy, with a couple of showers over the northwest and central Bahamas, partly sunny and warm, with a chance of a shower over the southeastern islands, high temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy skies and cool, with low temperature going down to 69 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 85 and 76. In Jamaica, 1977. In Trinidad, 89 and 72. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 82 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 56 and 46. In Boston, 37 and 25. In Miami, 78 and 72. Dallas, Texas, 57 and 33. And Toronto, Canada, 38 and 33. As you go through the week, high pressure builds, but that's going to shift towards the east by Wednesday. Make for another cold front to move in here sometime late Monday, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That will increase the cloudiness, some showers, and also some cooler temperatures behind that system. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 70s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That pressure offering first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Thanks, Godfrey. The world of talented Bahamian creatives will be on display when the Division of Cultural Affairs in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Culture hosts Culture at the Key this Wednesday, January 10th. Sorry, Ram. Here to tell us more are Anja Bowe, in charge of our fashion show at Culture at the Key, Portia Sands, the Assistant Director of Culture, and Talia Wright, a fashion designer for our upcoming fashion show. How are we doing, ladies?
We're doing great.
So what can we look forward to at Culture at the Key?
Culture at the Key is going to be a cultural immersion. We're really excited to be bringing so many aspects of the cultural sector to the Bahamian public. We start off with an all Bahamian book fair where Bahamian authors will be there with their material. They will be doing some readings, they will be selling their books, and persons can interact with them, get autographs. And a lot of our authors are new authors as well. And so it will be a good opportunity for them to showcase what it is that they have. We also have a new program. It's a national mural program where we've had apprentices during our summer camp in July, as well as students from William A. Pratt and Simpson Penn Center. They worked on 8-feet murals. They will be erected on Arawak Key, so we will be launching that as well. We will also be hosting a children's native show, and Miss Daisy will be in charge of the show, and we have children performing for children. So that's going to be really exciting. And then of course we have Bahamian Flicks, where we will be showcasing our filmmakers, Bahamian filmmakers, and this is from primary school level to the professional level. So we will be showing Bahamian Flicks as well on Wednesday. And then Anja is responsible for our fashion segment, which is going to be very unique and very exciting.
Yes, so this is actually the second time we're having the fashion show. It's called the Culture and Couture. Okay. And so, well, we're very excited to bring it again. This time we're doing something a little different. We have 3 different categories, or specific categories, I should say. We have high tea, where you're going to see more of the church wear, more of the hats and suit pieces that you would see in church. We also have rush hour, which is more of the fabric pieces that you would see on Jonkanu. So all the dance pieces and the beautiful colors, but that segment is mostly about your creativity, you know. And then we have the third piece, which is expressions of cultural heritage. And so in these pieces, well, that was one of the staples that we were definitely trying to push all of last year, and we will be pushing for 2024, is expressing our cultural heritage and identifying intangible and tangible cultural heritage in the Bahamas. And so things like, let's say intangible cultural heritage, you would say like storytelling and things like that, and then tangible is what you would know as food and stuff like that. So our designers have been very creative with using raw materials and just using different depictions to showcase their talent through their art in their garments. And one of the very talented designers, and one of the youngest that we have actually is Miss Talia Wright, who I have along with me. She also brought one of her designs to display as well, so you could see how good she is. I mean, she's fantastic, a fantastic seamstress, and so she's going to be showcasing her creativity on the event. So you could tell them a little bit about your category that you're in.
Well,
Yes.
I'm a part of the cultural heritage category, and I went more so towards our beautiful water, depicting our beautiful waters and resort wear for our tourists, because tourism is a big industry here. So
Of course.
I leaned more towards that side. But what I'm about to showcase is just one of my first pieces that I've made when I studied at BTVI.
Beautiful. So tell us what our lovely model is wearing.
She is wearing a jacket dress. Took quite some time to create, but this is more like a classy piece. Classy, everyday woman who want to wear to a banquet, the office, anything, just a classy luxury.
Yes.
It's definitely giving me day to night. It could give me corporate. It can give me hanging out with friends at a very sophisticated spot. There's definitely, you don't go to the movies in this, but
Yes.
this is just a beautiful outfit. I definitely feel day to night.
Absolutely, and Ms. Peyton Rigby is actually a student from our summer camp. We partnered with a group called Rock the Crown Summer Camp. So it is a pageantry and lifestyle camp that is in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. And so those ladies will be showcased as well, because they'll be able to model the pieces for us this year for the fashion show. And so this is another one of our models. She's Miss Teen Galaxy Bahamas, Miss Mia Gordon. She'll also be part of the fashion show as well. And so, it's all about getting our young people out there, getting our young people involved in realizing that you can be creative and be cultural and express your cultural heritage as well.
So I'm seeing, creativity at every level. We talked about writers, we're talking about fashion designers, we're talking about models, we're talking about painters in terms of the murals. Why was it so important to use the holiday in particular and Arawaki in particular as this showcase of creativity and integrating that with culture?
Well, first of all, we wanted to touch as many mediums as we could, because a lot of times when we say culture, we think Junkanoo, we just think food, and so our concept sometimes is rather limited, and so we wanted to showcase a wider range, and we want to engage as many aspects as we could. We've discovered that we have a lot of up-and-coming artists in all areas. We want to showcase them as well. And we believe that Majority Rule Day is a beautiful day to exhibit something like this and put it on Arawaki to bring it to the people.
And who is this for? Which people should be out there?
This is for everybody. We go from the least of us to the greatest of us. Like I said, the children will be putting on a show for the children. We have flicks made by children, and we have flicks by professional adults. So we actually have two movie segments. We'll have one early in the day for children, and then we'll have one later in the evening for a more mature audience.
And speaking to that, sorry, can you take me through, just a bird's eye view of the schedule?
So we start off the day with the All Bahamian Fair, because the book fair, because it can go throughout the day. So we will start off with the book fair. But even while we're doing the book fair, we have a number of other things that will be happening. We have Brian Jennings. He's a Bahamian game maker, so he'll be out there doing Bahamian games. We have Candice Marshall. She will be conducting a trash to treasure activity where you can make jewelry and accessories out of tire.
Wow.
And this is free of charge. And you take it, you make it. You make it, you take it. Sorry. Okay? Then we will have a demonstration by a makeup artist. She does regular makeup, but she also does makeup for film. So she will be doing a demonstration where she will recreate some, at least two faces for film. So all of this will be going on at the same time. And then about 3 o'clock is when we would bring on the Children's Native Show. At 5 o'clock we will have our Flicks segment. Then we will have the fashion show. What time will our fashion show begin?
So the fashion show is going to start at 7.
Okay.
And one thing that I missed as well that Mia is actually going to be a part of, we have added a new segment this year. Normally we would showcase clothing, but what we realize is a part of our culture is also our hair and the way that we do our makeup. And so that's also going to be another segment, hair and beauty. And so we have 4 designers, 4 hair designers that are going to be doing some very extravagant hair pieces for us with Kabuki. He's a fantastic Mr. Dominic Hepburn. He's a fantastic makeup artist who's going to be doing some fantastic designs for that segment.
So, I mean, we're talking about creative, we're talking about educational. This sounds like this is going to be a free course out there, not just, you know, from an entertainment perspective. And you just mentioned that the price is right for me. It is $3.99. So people, it sounds like they have no excuse in terms of, you know, getting out there. So if they want to, I guess, beat the rush, beat the traffic, find a good parking spot, what time would you recommend them coming out?
Wow. I would say be there from the beginning, because I don't think you would want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Because we also have prizes throughout the day. And so, you know, I wouldn't advise you to miss anything. I would say, you know what, get up early, do all your chores, get everything done, and be out there for 12 noon.
Mm-hmm. All right, see, and that's good. You don't gotta, nobody wants to be anywhere before 10 a.m. on a holiday. So they have no excuse. They get to sleep in and they get to come out, have a cultural experience, get to take advantage of some of the best things that the Bahamas has to offer.
Yes.
I am excited. I think this is going to be an excellent initiative, and I just want to wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Can you look after Kaylee? Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage your claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's NUA. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome back. Bahamian artist and scholar Keisha Oliver is a 2023 recipient of the Wilson Award for her project entitled Digitizing Bahamian Cultural Heritage Through Public Photographic Collections. She's here to discuss this with us, and we're so excited about it. Good morning, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise, Keisha.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being up with us. Dead early. I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's early here in Nassau, right?
Early at 2, and it's like 30 degrees.
Oh, all right, all right. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your studies, and your career?
So I have, as you mentioned, I am an artist, but I've been more of a designer. The past 14 years, I've worked both as a graphic designer and a brand consultant in the UK and the Caribbean. And since 2013, I have been with the University of the Bahamas as an art and design professor. And more recently, I currently started my PhD program at Penn State University, pursuing a dual title degree in art education and African American and diaspora studies.
That's awesome. It's definitely a topic and a subject that's much needed, and I'm excited to hear about this collection. So your project, Digitizing Bahamian Cultural Heritage Through Public Photographic Collections. Tell us, what is that all about?
Sure. So I just want to share a visual with you to give you some context to this, and hope you can see it okay. So my archival research has really been concerned with developing this digital photographic collection as part of a larger archive that documents the professional and interior lives of key figures in Bahamian visual arts. And so here we see this visual is Horace K. Wright, who is one of the founding kind of architects of formal art education in the Bahamas. And really the collection primarily contextualizes the visual culture over 3 decades. So we're thinking about the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, because this was a critical transitional period in our country's kind of years of national identity formation leading up to independence and the decade after. And so this is Horace Wright's collection. I've also been working with other artists like Antonius Roberts, like David Smith. And so we see here that there's so much that can be seen just in photographs of our history and our culture.
Like they say, a picture says 1,000 words, and with majority rule day approaching, this seems very fitting to learn about this project and learn a little bit more about our history. I'm curious, what has the process been like, collecting these photographs and digitizing them and just kind of figuring out what you see and what we're looking at?
And so this kind of entry point into memory work really started for me in 2020. And I was concerned with, how much was being lost. I had lost my grandmother at the time, and so much of her memory was lost with her death. And I was concerned with how we can preserve both personal and national kind of memory. And I started off by embarking on a research fellowship I was invited to at the Clark Institute in Massachusetts. And what I did there was I was interrogating these institutional archives that exist outside of the Bahamas and store so much of our history, and sort of mining and going into these archives and trying to find as much as I can to bring back home to the Bahamas to make these things public. And so institutional archives, but also personal collections, primarily of artists, educators, and key figures that are particular to this history. And communities that exist with this history in mind.
Do you find that there's a lack of visual resources that tells the story of our history?
Because, our art and culture is everywhere where we look around, particularly with Junkanoo, for example, which is probably celebrated as our primary kind of visual and tangible elements of culture. We see and we can identify these elements of who we are, But the fact of actually being able to success is where I've been finding the challenge. And so because of the limitation of physical and human resources and the willingness to work in this way, you know, we have a lot of people creating culture. We have a lot of artists, we have a lot of entrepreneurs, musicians, but where are the people who are preserving this, right? Like we rushing on Bay Street like yesterday, but who's preserving that moment? And so this is the work that I'm concerned with. And this is where the challenge is, the access and the preservation in conserving this part of who we are.
Once again, very important work, and I'm very interested in seeing it once, I guess once you're done with your thesis and maybe you come home and you'll have a show at the art gallery. What does it mean for you to be a recipient of the 2023 Wilson Award?
I'm really grateful because I think what this does for the arts particularly is it creates a space where the arts or cultural kind of work is seen as scholarly. Oftentimes there's this tension between what we defined or what we constitute as research in the academy, particularly in the Bahamas. And we often reduce the arts to this kind of aesthetic peripheral of otherness. It's not quite scholarly, it's not quite research, it's more of this kind of performative, celebratory elements of who we are, and not something that we should study, not something that we should read about, right? And so being able to receive this award gives us a place and position as artists, as creatives, as cultural kind of advocates to move forward and to create a path for other people coming after who have interest in doing this sort of work.
Very well said. I know for researchers, every dollar counts. So how will you use the award that you've received?
Well, like you said, every penny counts, and a lot of the times it's difficult to be able to make those hard decisions on what gets the funding and what doesn't. And so for me, I've been able to use the award to really locate the archival resources. And like I mentioned, a lot of our cultural history, because of our lack of attention in preserving that in the past years, it exists outside of the country. And so traveling to places within the US particularly and accessing resources remotely in Europe, I've been able to use the funding to find materials outside of the Bahamas, travel, as well as invest in materials that can be used within this digital archive for the future.
You sound like you're backpacking across the globe, bringing the story back home for us to learn and share and pass on to our children. As we wrap up, the goal of the Wilson Award is to incentivize innovative Bahamian research. How important is that in your opinion?
I think it's important because a lot of the times we feel that funding, support, particularly within the academy, is, in our society, a lot of other elements of, industries like sports, business, they get a lot of financial backing, right? But when it comes to scholarly work, there is very little support in furthering this work in creating textbooks, creating audiovisual kind of elements to help to create content that is needed for educational purposes. And I think that in doing this, we, like I mentioned earlier, we help to raise the bar for Bahamian scholars who have often had to look outside of the Bahamas, right, to fund our projects and to move our research forward. So I'm grateful, like I said, to be a recipient of this award, to be in a space where I'm celebrated at home, because oftentimes doing this work, you find that you're celebrated abroad more so than home. So it feels good when your people say, when they're cheering you on, right? I'm not an athlete. I'm only doing research that I'm hoping will help future Bahamians. And so I'm grateful to have this support.
Well, we salute you and your work, and we look forward to you completing your research, finishing up that dissertation, and coming and increasing our institutional and cultural knowledge here in the Bahamas. Keisha Oliver, we salute you, 2023 Wilson Award winner, helping us to know what happened in our past, looking through digital visual resources. Thanks again for joining us in Bahamas at Sunrise. Get warm, right? I heard it's cold. Thanks for joining us. You're watching Mamas at Sunrise, and we'll be right back.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Alive Business SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Alive Business at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Here are 3 young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability, learn basic literacy and numeracy skills, and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.ds or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
African Things is your one-stop shop for everything African. Make a bold fashion statement with vibrant colors and intricate patterns inspired by the beauty of Africa. Find trendy contemporary looks for every occasion and enjoy custom tailoring. Shop jewelry, purses, art, cosmetics, and much more. African Things is located in the Dugard Plaza, Palmdale, next to McDonald's. Open Tuesday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come get your African Things.
One thing, two things, new thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right into the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another marvelous Monday and we're at the mid-show. Thank you for sticking with us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Davriel Gardner, hoping that you are still having a happy Monday.
A happy Monday, a fresh start to the week, a brand new week to get new things done or just to do nothing because, you know, I feel like you need a vacation after the holidays. So thank God for majority rule because we got this good old holiday coming up on Wednesday. I know there's a lot more other things to be thankful, but gee.
Of course.
Woo.
You know, I had a moment this week where I caught myself. I was like, we'll deal with that in the new year. And somebody was like, it's now. Now is. I was like, oh, we've left that part where in the holidays we'd be like, we'll deal with that later.
Yeah. It was so convenient, right? Yeah. I'll just wait till the new year. Now it's 2 days away, right? But hey, I'll just wait till the new year.
And now we're
think about it.
in it.
No, we're here. And this year is going to go by fast. So make sure you set all your plans for the year. Be intentional. You never know what curveballs life's going to throw you. You never know what blessings are awaiting for you and opportunities are going to come your way. So keep pushing. Keep the faith. Push on, and don't worry. At the end of 24, we can talk again, and you'll tell us about all the good things that's happened to you, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be an excellent year.
Excellent and epic in all ways. We've got more coming up in our second half. The brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha are here, and they're going to share their plans for a Martin Luther King Jr. essay competition and lecture.
And Gowon Bowe will join us to give us an economic outlook for 2024. But before all that, we'll take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Davriel, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather at Sunrise. We have that old frontal boundary now, the Exumas, San Salvador, Cat Island, high pressure building across the islands, and that will increase our winds today through tomorrow ahead of another front that should move here sometime late Wednesday into Thursday morning. In your marine forecast, we do have a small craft operators to advise to stay in on their port over the next couple of days. Swimmers out of the water. Winds today northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet, where those winds will be increasing 15 to 25 knots, seas building 5 to 8 feet by evening. On Tuesday, those winds southeast to south at 15 to 25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet on northwest Bahamas, southeast to 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, those winds southwesterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet ahead of a front, but shifting northwest and north at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet after frontal passage over the northwest Bahamas, southeast at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides, you can expect a low tide 11:25 this morning. Next high tide will be at 5:04 this evening. Low again tonight at 11:09. Sunset 5:35 this evening. Rising was 6:56. UV index 7. Your water temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase now moving towards a new moon. Your external look, high pressure shift towards the east. Make way for that cold front to move in. Mix of sun and clouds until Wednesday. We're looking at variable cloudiness. Wednesday and Thursday with a few showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm along that frontal boundary. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 70s daytime, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That puts you up here for look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. In conjunction with the University of the Bahamas, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Phi Mu, and Iota Epsilon Lambda chapters will be hosting the second annual Martin Luther King Jr. High School Oratorical Competition this week, as well as the 8th annual MLK Memorial Lecture next week. Here to tell us more are Algernon M. Cargill. He's the Director of Educational Activities with Alpha Phi Alpha. We have Oscar L. Dorsett. He's the President of the Iota Epsilon Lambda Chapter. And Lynden D. Maycock. He's the Director of Finance for the Education Committee. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you. Great to be here.
The caliber on set has just gone up, man. I say, missing my tie. You brothers are here all sharp. We appreciate y'all every time y'all come on. It's always a good segment to have you on. So let's start. Why is it important for Alpha Phi Alpha to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King?
Well, first off, Martin Luther King was a brother of our fraternity. And he's made a tremendous landmark, not only in the Bahamas, but globally. And we're happy to celebrate his legacy by hosting the second MLK Memorial Oratorical Contest. What is important, though, is that Martin Luther King was a skilled orator. And so we thought that we would really exemplify his life here in Nassau by hosting the oratorical contest. And as I said, this is the second time we're hosting it on January the 10th at 9:30 a.m. at the University of Bahamas, and admission is free.
That's good. You know, it's a great event to showcase the skills and the talent coming up in our youth. And then, of course, you know, people love that price point, right? So tell us, what is the goal and overall aim of the competition?
The goal and overall aim of the competition is just to bring young persons together to become better orators. Right. So it's an oratorical contest. They're going to compete. They'll be judged. The judges will be from
the Healing Hands Toastmasters Club from 7178 here in Nassau.
And just tell us, how important is it for one to have these skills? You know, being able to convey a message, to speak clearly.
Well, let me just help.
Go from conflict communication, conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, because if you can't communicate, that's where the conflict comes in, and that's something that we need more than ever in our society now, because we have major issues with conflict and communication. So it makes them better communicators.
And what are you looking forward to when it comes to the competition?
We're looking forward when it comes to the competition. The event is going to be held on Majority Rule Day. Mm-hmm. And it's no coincidence that it's being held on Majority Rule Day. Mm-hmm. The theme for the event is, if we don't work together as brothers, we will perish as fools. Mm-hmm. And so we look at Majority Rule Day that we are hosting this particular competition. 11 11 persons from across the Bahamas, from all over the Bahamas, will be participating in this competition. Majority Rule Day, Martin Luther King was very instrumental in terms of freedom and justice for globally. Also here in the Bahamas, he would have visited Bimini, where he wrote his famous speech, "I Have a Dream." And so we're going to pay homage to those 18 freedom fighters who were cabinet in the Majority Rule cabinet, the likes of Lynden, Elwood Donaldson, you're talking about Edmund Moxie. Those are names that we don't talk about. And so Sir Randall Fox would have met with M.L. King during that struggle. And so the competition itself, being on Majority Rule Day, is to focus on what we are doing here in the Bahamas. The struggle continues.
That's awesome. It's an awesome message. And, you know, as we said before we go on, it's important for there to be a positive image, positive male role models in our faces for people to see. You know, those who can provide mentorship and those who from a distance can impact the lives of young people. So we know those who participate, and they're probably looking forward to honoring the honor of MLK, honoring the memory and legacy of MLK. But are there any prizes? What are they working towards? What will the winner get?
The winner will receive a $500 cash prize. Okay. Second place, a $300 cash prize. And third place, a $200 cash prize. As well as the winning school will receive the floating trophy. But we believe that is more than the prizes. It's having the honor of being the Alpha Phi Alpha MLK oratorical winner. And last year's oratorical winner, he went on to win the Ernst & Young Scholarship. And also the third place winner in the contest last year, he went on to become our valedictorian in the Honors Day competition. And so it's a great honor to compete, but more so a great honor to represent your school.
Right.
So we're happy that we have several schools, as Brother Lynden said, throughout the Bahamas, participating on the holiday Wednesday. And we want to emphasize the holiday because we know the Bahamians like to relax. So start the morning at 9:30 a.m. at the Harry C. Moore Library at the University of the Bahamas. This is a joint effort with the University of the Bahamas that we're sponsoring. So we really want the Bahamians to come out and cheer on our 11 orators as they all vie to be the Alpha Phi Alpha, as well as the University of the Bahamas oratorical winner this year in the MLK contest.
Yeah, you got to
In addition to Mr. Daniels, we talk about the prizes. We want to say thank you to Bishop Neil Ellis for his sponsorship in providing the prize monies for the event. Bishop Neil Ellis himself was a great orator, and that would sparked him to assist the fraternity and the UB in providing the prize monies for this particular event.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
You know, you always need support. You need help from the community. Is there a keynote speaker? Is there anyone else speaking at the event on Wednesday?
Well, that would be the following week, Monday. On January the 8th, we're having our 8th MLK lecture series.
Right.
And the speaker then would be Herman Skip Mason, the 33rd General President of Alpha Phi Alpha. So the theme there will also be that we must learn to live together as brothers or perish as fools. So Herman, Brother Mason, he is from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's a gifted orator in his own right. And so we're so happy that he's agreed to come and be our speaker on January the 15th, Martin Luther King's MLK Day here in Nassau.
So if we wanted to catch that lecture, is that open to the public?
Of course. Most of our events are open to the public, and that event is also free. It will be at the Performing Arts Center at the University of Bahamas. That's on the Ponciana Drive entrance, the main auditorium. So that will also be televised on ZNS Bahamas. But we want the Bahamians to come on and support Brother Mason, as well as support our oratorical winner, who will also deliver his or her winning speech on January the 15th.
That's awesome. Definitely a week of activities coming up, a lot of excitement, a lot of things to look forward to. For those who are watching who may not know much about the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and what it is you do and what you represent, just give our people a rundown. What is it that makes Alpha Phi Alpha stand out as the top fraternity here in the Bahamas?
Well, there's so much to talk about.
First of all, we're servants of all.
Right.
And the Bible say, to be the greatest, you must be a servant.
Right.
And so that's what makes us great. We're servants.
I'd like to also tag on to what Brother Lynden said. We have a phenomenal Honor State program. Last year, we gave $4 million in institutional scholarships at the Honor State program, as well as $28,000 in cash. And by any account, that's an outstanding achievement. And that was possible because of the generosity of our brothers, Corporate Bahamas, and various institutions in the United States. I believe what makes us great is that we're the only fraternity or sorority that can boast of these achievements. And we're happy to educate so many outstanding young men, and most of them are doing extremely well in university in the United States.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So this Wednesday, when the lecture is going down, you can come out to the Harry Seymour library 9 a.m.
9:30 a.m.
9:30 a.m. It's free.
9.
Yeah, you get there early, right? It's free. Come on out and support those who will be in the competition, but also learn a bit more about the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and of course about the contributions of MLK.
Additionally, I want to mention that we have a mentorship program as well. At Silence Primary, we mentor young men from the primary school, from primary school age, where we could get through to them easier, as well as we're going to expand the program into the junior high school and the senior high school. And we're trying to focus on communication and conflict resolution.
Bend the tree while it's young.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Brothers, I appreciate y'all being on the show again this morning. It's always an honor having you here on the set. Keep doing all the wonderful things you're doing as a fraternity and as a community. And we look forward to your lecture on Wednesday and looking for the new champion, right? The new champion, the future of the Bahamas. Thank y'all again for being here, the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
Thank you for having us.
so much.
Appreciate y'all. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, and we'll be right back.
What do you want from a cloud solution? You want flexibility and edge? You want to modernize implications with the ability to deliver new ones with lightning speed. You want an infrastructure that's automated, secure, cost-effective, and scalable. You want to give the end user the freedom they want with the control you need. You can't get all that from just any cloud. You need something better. You need Bahamas Cloud. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Welcome back. Is the Bahamian economy stable? Can we expect robust growth this year? Here to give us an outlook on 2024 is Gowon Bowe, Chief Executive Officer at Fidelity Bank Bahamas Limited. Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thanks very much. Always a pleasure.
All right, so one of the first things that people think about when we talk about the economy is the cost of living.
Right.
Can you speak to the high cost of living at present in the Bahamas?
Well, I think we first have to fundamentally appreciate that we don't produce anything. So the reality is we import, over 90% of what we consume. And so therefore, when we see high prices globally, we have to have an appreciation that we simply inherit that. Our strategy, notwithstanding what government says, is really to educate persons on how they manage that. When we look at our forefathers, they didn't have much, but they were able to put food on the table, they prioritized, and they were able to make the little go further. And we have to get back to that mindset that it isn't always about looking to government to try and change what it is that we are responsible for. It is more important for government to educate us as to what are the fundamentals, why are the prices the way they are, and what can government do from what I'm going to call an infrastructure perspective, helping us, as they say, to fish as opposed to giving us fish. So I think that we have to get away from this narrative that it's a government responsibility to bring prices down, because the truth of the matter is you have to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and we have to take personal responsibility knowing that because we don't produce, we're going to have to look at our dollars and try and make them go further.
Despite the fact that we don't produce any export product, I know there was a lot of talk about the landmark number of visitors that we had. What are some things that we do as a country to generate revenue?
Well, our greatest export naturally is our service, and that is tourism. We have banking and financial services as a secondary pillar of our economy. Ultimately, we have to look within our society in terms of saying, well, how do we become active participants as opposed to simply observers? So notwithstanding the high number of tourism or tourists that have visited, have we really understood how is it that we are leveraging those visitors? Are we maximizing their spend? Not to dampen the number, the largest contributor to that is actually the cruise visitors, which we know have historically been the lowest spenders, and even getting all of them off the ship. So we have a tremendous opportunity if we can get more off the ship, if we can get them spending greater amounts in the economy. And we have to look at that from a perspective of how do we plan. Persons don't like that word in our country for some reason. We enjoy flying by the seat of the pants and being fortunate and being God's country. But we have to become a bit more deliberate in terms of saying, well, if we have these numbers of persons, we need the articulation of those numbers so that business persons can look and say, well, what is it that they need? What is it that is going to drive the spend? And we see the cruise port, being a huge, I'm going to say, gateway into that in terms of what they're trying to do. But ultimately, we don't want that to become another resort where people simply come off the ship and stay within that contained area. And if we go back to, the olden class, they spoke about the nightclubs and the live music and the bars and the cafes and really the cultural entertainment. And we've lost a bit of that. We've become so commercialized that we're looking at how do we push, a souvenir into your hand as opposed to giving you that experience. The Bahama Hosts and the people-to-people initiatives back in the day when I was a young man and had grandparents who were in the industry, that was a difference. The visitors weren't what they saw as being second citizens in the country. They saw themselves as being a part of the environment, and they knew all of their service providers. And service is not servitude, which is a big thing that we have to learn in our country, that simply because I give you good service doesn't make me lower than you, because the truth of the matter is I may visit your country and you end up giving me service as well.
I think that is a very important conversation, particularly in this day and age where there are so many, I want to say, questions and complaints about the service industry. And I do think it comes from a space where folks don't see the nobility in the work that they're doing.
Just in the previous segment, they mentioned the biblical reference that in order to lead, you have to first become a servant. And the truth of the matter is, if we want to lead in tourism, we have to appreciate that we have to become a servant of those who visit our shores.
Switching gears completely, Do you think the time is coming for a corporate income tax?
The time is long gone for a corporate income tax. When we look at our tax system, you ask three questions. Is it equitable? The answer is no, because ultimately those who have least pay the most in terms of their relative income. Is it one that makes us competitive? The answer is no. We continue to be on blacklists. Does it provide the current system sufficient revenues for the government to meet their expenditure? We've run a fiscal deficit since independence. We've not had a fiscal surplus. So if you have the answer to all those questions saying no, then obviously the current system is broken. So whilst they may say, don't break it, unless it's broken, don't fix it. The reality is it's been broken. Mm-hmm. And so from that perspective, we as Bahamians don't like the concept of income tax because we feel that it's going to be a greater burden on us. But if we are better able to equitably distribute the tax burden, so if we are saying that you pay based on your ability to pay, then I don't see how that is a bad thing. And that can trickle itself down right into personal income tax. So the reality is we have to decide as a financial service center, are we going to be competitive? And if we are, we're going to have to move our tax system to one that is more progressive, because ultimately it is in the spotlight and it has not done as well in more recent times. Yes, history has served us well in terms of the consumption-based tax, but I think now as the society evolves, if you say to the man on the street that you're paying 40% in tax and the wealthier person is paying 10, we're going to redistribute that and both of you pay 15 or 20, I think you'll find acceptance. They just don't understand that fundamentally, because when we say we shift to an income-based tax system, they say, oh, that's the government taking more money from me. But if it's a wealth redistribution, then it is more noble and more likely to receive acceptance.
You mentioned the fact that Bahamians don't necessarily like to plan. Are there any plans or strategies for, generation of income or just more economic stability in the country that you would recommend?
I use just IPD, information, prioritization, and discipline. And that goes from the individual, the family, and the government. That we need to know where our revenue sources and expenditure sources are. We need to prioritize and do the things to generate revenues in our personal lives, good performance at work, investment opportunities, saving. In the government perspective, where is it that I need to be a facilitator, not a provider? What are the areas where I get out of the way of commerce? And when we talk about prioritization, not every request needs to be honored. Mm-hmm. And we need to have that disciplined conversation to say, it's not that I'm saying no to you, I am trying to do the greatest good for the greatest amount of persons. And discipline says that if you've started to prioritize something, don't be subject to every whim and go off course. So ultimately, as we look at 2024, yes, we have some bright lights that came out of 23, but we also have some very frightening headwinds. We have uncertainty in the United States, which is our major market. We have global uncertainty. There may be a recession, may not be. And so this is the time for us to say, put away for a rainy day. Ben Franklin said, failing to plan is planning to fail, paraphrasing. And ultimately, if we're afraid to put it down on paper and then live by a plan, that shows us that we're not ready to take the next step. And so ultimately, let's not be afraid to say where our deficiencies are, but let's work towards them. And that goes, like I say, individual, family, business, and government.
I got to put you in the hot seat during the break because I was so excited about the prospect of the Fidelity Women in Money Seminar, which I truly enjoyed over the years. What's happening this year at Fidelity?
The women's, and we moved it from women's only to women plus, and making sure that we ultimately are going to give back. That's done every couple of years because it's a mammoth undertaking. As an institution, our slogan is, we're good for you. And really, it is making sure that we have that balance. I say to persons, a bank is just a fiduciary agent. Borrowers, depositors, shareholders, employees. We have a responsibility to be equitable to all. So this year, going into the new year, we are looking at how we strike that balance, making sure our depositors are taken care of, our shareholders get an equitable return, our borrowers, you can lead a horse to water through financial coaching, but you can't make them drink. So we have a number of areas where we're excited, moving into merchant services, trying to digitize the country, not by force, but by a spoonful of sugar, getting through the family island. So we've opened the Exuma, If that model works, we should be through the various family islands in the not too distant future. So to be honest, I take pride in it being one, a Bahamian-owned entity, two, being a young Bahamian that is leading it, and three, having a cadre of professionals who work with me that are proud each day when they go out and we can say, Fidelity, we are good for you.
Absolutely. I'm very impressed personally with the work that you all are doing. And I love being able to chat with you. I always feel smarter at the end. So I just want to say thank you for joining us this morning.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back. Well, it has been an excellent Monday here on Bahamas at Sunrise. We've had conversations with so many incredible Bahamians of all ages who are doing things that are making a positive impact on our community, and to hear about all the exciting things that are going to be happening this Wednesday, Majority Rule Day, on our Waikiki.
Yeah. And once again, we're at the start of a new week. We got a holiday midweek, everybody. So make sure to set your plans. There's a lot going on. You can go out, spend time with the family, or stay home, get some cleaning done, get some rest, get your garden ready because, you know, we passed the winter. We got to get ready for the spring. So enjoy yourself this Wednesday. It's Majority Rule Day. Reflect once again on what it is we rule in here. You know, reflect on how it is that you can be the change that we all want to see. And I'm talking to the man in the mirror. Boom.
And don't forget, you still have to go to work on Thursday.
Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you on Friday.
Have a great week.